Live from London, it's Prank of the Week with your host and show creator, Mike Graham.
Good evening and welcome to Plank of the Week. I'm Mike Graham. It's 7 o'clock, it's Friday night, and some of you will already be making complaints because, as you can see behind me, the clock, actually, no, it's there, isn't it? No, it's not. It's there. Where is it? It's over there. The clock doesn't say 7 o'clock. People pointed it out last week. Change the clock. The reason it doesn't say 7 o'clock is because this is a pre-recorded show, and we recorded it the day before. And rather than other newspapers telling you that it's the wrong day, or rather than other shows that tell you they've recorded it and it's going out live, we don't tell lies here. We just tell you the truth. So we recorded this show yesterday, which is technically today. So, welcome to Plank of the Week. We've got some great people here who have never done the show before. Ingrid Tarrant is to my left. Hello, very good morning.
Gosh,
Evening
good
to you.
morning.
Sorry.
How are we
it's the
going to
morning.
talk? What sort of language are we going to talk?
Well, we're going to do it in English, I think. That's probably what I would suggest for most of us.
Morning
Unless-
or evening?
Yeah.
I'm fluent in gibberish.
I mean, according to Donald Trump, we'd have all been speaking German if it wasn't for this. We do
Well,
German
there you go.
if you want. There is Schaffer for the first time.
I know,
Welcome.
unbelievable.
Thank you.
I'm like so happy.
That's so great to see you. And Will Geddes, of course, the old favourite,
veteran.
who's just been on holiday to, where was it?
The
Seychelles.
Maldives,
The
my
Maldives,
friend.
yeah.
Yes.
Diving in the Maldives, I think
Diving
you
in the
called it.
Maldives.
Very nice, too.
Yeah, living the dream.
Well, because you've just come back from holiday, we're going to give you the opportunity to kick us off, right?
Well, you're very kind,
And
sir.
we want you to kick us off with Brooklyn Beckham.
Ah, you ruined the surprise. I was going to say that well-known photographer, celebrity chef,
Yeah.
and various other skills which
Surely
he didn't excel
Instagram
at.
influencer.
Yeah, well, obviously that's part of the parcel. He was born into that, which is part of the reason why he is evidently a nominee for the Plank this
Yes.
week. So I came back, as you very kindly said, from my jolly jaunts down in the Southeast Asia, to this whole flurry of publicity around young Beckham, the eldest boy in the family, as I understand it.
How old is he now? 10?
12.
Age off.
I think it's a standard British thing that it's like, what are you, 12?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think maybe 12-ish, around that sort of age. Anyway, so the bizarre thing is, everybody seems to have garnished and embraced this whole sort of family feud issue between him and his new wife, Thingy Peltz or
yeah.
something. And that shows you how interested I really am in the whole story.
It's just, oh,
And
yawn.
literally, he's what he's done is he's brought to the surface what everybody already knew, which is Brand Beckham is motivated by as much publicity as it possibly can. And those guys have done...
Surprise!
surprise, surprise. And they've done an awesome job. Nobody can knock them for that because obviously they've made an absolute fortune in their empire by doing so. But really all that happens is he comes out, there are all these allegations about basically his mum, who has obviously a very recognisable, very credible fashion brand. Credible, apparently, yes. But at the very last minute, refused to do his bride-to-be's wedding dress. And then there's this fabulous story.
Can I just correct you on that?
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't that way round. She did want to do it, but I thought that Peltz didn't
Nicola.
want her... Nicola, that's
Yeah.
the word.
Yes.
Didn't accept her, rejected that, and got one of her friends to do it. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Might be wrong.
Well, there you go. And I'm equally not interested in that sort of
Exactly,
story
nor am I.
regardless.
Who cares? She didn't wear Victoria Beckham's dress. End of.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the other thing is that apparently Victoria hijacked the first dance, which is obviously a momentous occasion. All of us, being veterans of marriages, will know that the first dance between the bride and the groom is obviously very important. So inevitably, I think she came on and was twerking or doing something. I don't know. Victoria came in and hijacked it, and again, that upset. So rather than any normal family who don't do their dirty washing in public, what he's chosen to do, I should say, is then come out with a 3-slide Instagram post to his 12 followers, or however many he's got, or that he hasn't bought, and basically just outed the family. And it's got this horrible smack of a kind of Harry and Meghan type situation, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of trying to, and it's very handy that Nicola's family, and her father especially, is a billionaire. So it's not like he's going to want for any money,
No,
and he's going to have to
exactly.
be reliant on the family. So literally this entire petulance and the publicity it's garnished, I just don't get.
No.
But
No.
maybe
you
I'm
know,
not.
you
the
were
papers-
saying that it's like Harry and Meghan, but do you think, I absolutely agree with you, but do you think that Nicola Peltz is the Meghan? They are...
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you do?
Yeah,
yes.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
so. But
I
I think
think
he's.
so
I think
too.
he's.
He's
I don't
definitely
think
the
bright
Harry, isn't
enough.
he? He's
Yes,
definitely
he's
the
definitely
Harry.
the Harry.
He's
I
a kind of
think he's bright
entitlement.
enough, yeah.
I mean, the
He's got
Sun
entitlement, but not
this
bright.
week is saying that he won't get her money. which is interesting. I don't know whether that has any effect on how he's going to be behaving.
Well, what money does she have? It's inherited money.
It's inherited
money. And in
money,
America, you don't know. She might have. She might, and you don't even know how much money Peltz has.
Yeah.
And the point is, this is not that he is. This is it's one of the most amazing stories because why would your kid embarrass you in this way?
Yeah, I know.
Unless it was like a master plan to get attention, number one, or unless these two people, David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, whatever, are horrible parents, and they're going to die next.
Well, it may well be. It may well be that they're all absolutely horrible. This is Piers Morgan's theory: is that the entire crowd of Beckhams, every single one of them, is not worthy of any sort of attention at all. I mean, I love the way that the papers have reacted to it, though, because it was like, the day before the story broke, Donald Trump was going to commit World War III on Greenland and the rest of Europe. The next day, nothing on Trump on the front. It's all about the Beckhams, right? And they've got a deep dive podcast in the Daily Mail
how fascinating.
that you can do. Beckham versus Beckham, unmissable special episodes. Listen on Apple, Spotify, or the Daily Mail app. I mean, they've gone mad. They've gone insane for this story, right?
It's so bizarre,
because
Mike,
it is so weird.
I don't get it. I mean, and I literally am all out of F's to give,
Yeah.
really, with this whole story.
Listen, I mean, definitely the plankish behaviour, though, of this kid who calls himself a chef.
No,
a
I
photographer.
think you're so wrong.
You think you're going to defend him? Are you?
I'm going to defend the guy.
Yeah.
Go on, Lewis. Give
Because
it your
up
best.
until a certain, if the parents are that young and that, it's like what happened to Nick Reiner and Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
These are bad parents.
No,
They are bad.
I'm not going to let you get away with
My
that one
kid-
because I don't think they are at all.
Every morning I ask my children, I've got two beautiful boys, are you going to kill me today?
Yeah.
Every morning. Because
Because you're a bad parent.
no, because you don't know if you're a bad parent. But if your kid's trying to kill your career, which is what they're
you're
doing,
sabotaging.
that means that they're bad children.
But they're bad children and
why-
bad. They could be bad children and bad parents. They
Yeah.
could just be the whole
Do you know
family
what they
is
are?
rotten to the core.
They're
that is
victims
wrong too.
They're
You're
victims of their own success.
No, the Beckhams?
Yeah, I do think they are because Victoria. I think I'm not blaming anyway here, but Victoria very much was sort of like everybody knew her worldwide, much
Yes.
better known than David. And then she leaves the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
No, I would say. I definitely would
I think
say.
they cover all demographics.
She was famous for he was,
Yeah.
no doubt about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and more
Yeah.
famous.
And
I
then
do
he
think.
has been a hate figure though ever since 1998 in the World Cup when he got
Exactly.
sent off for kicking the Argentinian guy when
Yeah.
England would have won the game without it,
That's right.
and people were hanging effigies of
They-
him
that- I remember
in
that,
the
yeah.
street.
Yeah,
But he was
Right?
the most amazing, and I never followed British football. But that one kick that he made, remember the one kick that he
Yeah, from the
that he
halfway
did?
line, yeah.
He was the last great British football player.
Yeah.
I mean, people would argue with you about that, but we're not. It's not.
I just made that up.
Because
I
you're
had
an
no
American.
idea.
Also, you're an American, so
Yeah,
we don't
exactly,
talk to
so it
Americans
doesn't
about football.
count.
It's
But
not- it's
for
not
me,
what
he
we do.
comes across
back-
as a spoiled Nepo baby. I mean, this
does.
kid has been given. Okay, so he grew up, and
But
I've
the
looked
thing is,
after.
he was
I've looked
spot,
after
but
a
he
number
is
of
a
celebrities
victim
and their
of all
children.
of that. I hate to use the word victim, but I do really think that his whole life was controlled by the machine. And as
Do you
he
mean
goes-
David?
Of course, yeah.
Do you mean
No, I
David?
mean Brooklyn
Oh.
and the kids. So, I mean, the others haven't perhaps fared so badly, but he's the eldest. He was the first.
Well, I don't
one.
even know who the
So
others
there was
are.
a
He's the
lot
only
of-
one I've heard of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Romeo and
Romeo.
And Harper.
I mean, imagine
Harper,
calling,
and there's one
imagine
more.
calling your son
Is there another
Romeo.
one?
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be enough of a handicap
Well,
to
I
begin
think that's
with.
a great name, and I think Brooklyn is a great name. If it's
Ingrid,
girl.
Let's-
I think
let's
the
not
way
think-
he was conceived.
Let's not
wasn't
forget,
it?
yeah,
No.
he was called after the place where they basically shagged.
That is
Yeah.
a lie. That is a lie. That is
do
a
you
lie.
know?
Because I lived in Brooklyn.
We know you weren't in the bedroom, though.
I wasn't. But back when I lived in Brooklyn, there was not a single hotel in Brooklyn. It's like saying they
Yeah,
were
but have you
born-
been back lately? Because
Yes.
I'm like you.
Now
When
it's
I, you know,
amazing.
well, that's not amazing. I think it's awful, actually.
Yeah.
I preferred it when it was shit,
Yes.
frankly. And basically, Brooklyn used to be the place that you couldn't get to in a cab.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
nobody
Oh,
would go
nobody
over.
wanted to go
and
across
it's the
the
place where the
bridges,
bridge
yeah.
and tunnel crowd used to come
Exactly,
from.
the
And they'd come and
B&Ts.
have a night in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then you'd send them home with a toothbrush.
But
and
you
a
know
fresh
for
pair
a
of
fact,
knickers.
because you were living there
Yeah.
at that time,
Right.
it was a nothing place. And where I was living in Fort Greene, I was born in Brooklyn too, but I'm not a really Brooklynite, but I was living there for years. But the point is that when it was named Brooklyn, it was a lie. That story is like, oh, it's a good story,
Yeah.
but it's not. And Lynn, anything with Lynn, Brooklyn is a girl's name in
Yeah.
America.
Well,
Oh,
we
is
were
it?
saying
Yeah.
earlier
Then-
because we did a poll this morning on the show about where should we send Keir Starmer for his holidays, and the winning
Sudan?
place
Lagos.
name was Wanky. Which is down in Africa, and it's lucky that he wasn't conceived there, otherwise he'd have been known as Wanky Brett Beckham, which would be unfortunate, to say the very least.
My kid's name is Texaco Restroom.
Well, it's like that joke.
You're lucky
isn't it,
to
about
find
the
one open.
Indian?
They're usually always closed. You have to pee round the back.
It was a joke.
I
Mike.
know it was. But this is the thing. Brooklyn Beckham, I think, is a pretty good nailed-on start to the show, because I can't imagine there's anybody more.
To be honest, he's
than
the
him.
ultimate Nepo baby, and I think he's a petulant, spoiled child. If you've got a
I
problem with your
feel
family,
sorry for him, though.
talk to the family directly. Don't.
But
start.
again,
He
it's gonna say
hasn't
this.
been able to be himself. I wonder what he would have.
Well, maybe that's a good
turned
thing.
out
Yeah.
to.
No,
No,
because
I
it's what
don't
he's
think
like.
it is. I don't think it is. I think these kids that are spoiled and spoiled
Yeah.
rotten,
Yeah.
and especially that come from families that have never had anything. So it's the nouveau riche. I think it destroys, really destroys, because they just throw everything at their children, making up for the things that they didn't have. Aren't we lucky now? Look how well we're doing and everything. And then they get caught up in this whole. It's like a trap. It's like
What
a
about the
washing
old
machine.
rich, Ingrid? What about the old rich, like King Charles, the worst child? Why? Because his parents were horrible.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come on to King Charles later,
Oh, yeah.
so let's
Yeah.
not ruin
Okay.
that one yet. But I mean, here's the thing. The other thing that really annoys me about this particular generation is how sensitive they all are.
Oh, yeah, they're
I mean, you know,
pathetic.
so your mother
Very
goes
fragile.
and has a dance with you at the wedding.
But
Get
wasn't
over
it-
it. Get over it. Hang on. But Nicola ran off in floods of tears, was devastated. They're all devastated by everything that happens. You know, you think somebody would come in and shot him and killed him, and then she could have been devastated. But no, she's devastated because her mother-in-law danced with her husband.
Well, it
Yeah.
was
Really?
taking the spotlight. Well, it was wrong. You should never
Hang on,
upstage
hang on,
your daughter
hang on.
at a wedding. No, I'm sorry. You should never, ever, ever do that. And then don't forget when there's
What if you're
girls
paying for
involved
it,
and
though?
the bride.
Okay.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
okay.
You don't have that right.
I think,
you must never
actually, to be honest,
upstage.
Ingrid, I think having all of us having been married at one point, we know weddings aren't necessarily just for the couple. That's why you have to invite the long lost aunt. You have to invite all these various
I
people,
know, it's
and a
just
good
sad,
proportion
actually.
of those people who are being invited will be invited by the parents of the bride and the groom,
Who are probably
because-
paying, by the
who
way.
are paying
Yes,
for it.
yes.
Exactly. I mean, if Brooklyn and Nicola had paid for the wedding themselves,
No.
I get it, but they
No,
didn't.
it makes no difference. It's the principle of the matter. It's tradition.
Surely
It's
the other
tradition.
principle, but surely
and
the
that
other
was
principle,
pig ignorant.
the other principle of the matter though is you don't attack your own mother
Yeah.
in public.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what
Yeah, but
kind of
I agree,
parent she
Mike.
is.
Well,
I
this
agree.
is
You're-
the thing.
you know,
I
my-
think he's stuck between sort of like the devil
Well, he
and the
shouldn't. Well, he
deep blue
shouldn't be.
sea.
First of all, he shouldn't be airing his family business in public.
Correct.
One.
Yeah.
But that's
Two,
all
he
they've
shouldn't-
ever known.
But he shouldn't attack his own mother. That's
No,
ridiculous.
absolutely.
Right, but where did he get this from? Is it genetic thing? Did he get some sort of virus that made him attack his mother? It's just bad parenting. You can.
He's
hate
been
to say
spoiled.
it.
He's been
being
spoiled. That's the
spoiled.
problem.
It's
No
like with
boundaries,
With Nick
that's the thing.
Reiner.
Yeah.
When you kill your parents, that makes you a bad parent. If you're being killed by your kid, you can't even question that. When you know,
And you know,
and people are saying,
Lewis,
people are
that-
saying
this
no.
is
So
why I haven't
glad
had
I'm
children.
still alive.
And the second thing is with the Beckhams is that the most important thing in the Beckhams' life is this celebrity business. It's the most
Yes,
important.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but that's
it
how it's
is.
Well,
funny. Yeah.
I'm going to finish up with this one. On,
We don't need any more nominees, do we?
A word from David Beckham, because
Yeah.
he basically said that kids make mistakes and you should let your kids make mistakes. And he was very gracious when
Yes.
he finally
Yeah.
said,
I agree.
which I think proves he's not a bad parent, because but he did exactly what he should have done, which
Yeah.
was to be very nice and charming. I don't care what he says to the brats,
Yeah.
Brooklyn behind closed doors, but he did the right thing.
I think
Yes,
the crisis
absolutely.
communications department did a good job,
Yeah.
actually.
And of course he was in Davos as well, where all the really important people are this week.
Yeah, exactly.
So he gets off, right?
Apart
'cause
from
he's
Keir
in Davos.
Starmer, who's not important at all.
Who
In
won't
fact,
be.
you know what's weird, and I'm going to come to this later on. This is the first week, I think, since Keir Starmer's been Prime Minister,
Yeah.
that he hasn't been nominated for Plank of the Week.
Really?
And it's because he's now so useless, actually,
Yeah.
that it's not even worth...
There's
Yes,
no point,
it's
really.
not. It's
is there?
worth
unimaginative,
It's not
isn't
worth
it now?
counting.
It's
So I'm-
like shooting a wounded animal, really, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. So I'm going to
On
go
its
with my
last legs.
first nomination, and it's the Trump haters this week, because there's been so
Funny
much
then.
Trump derangement syndrome going on that I've just been loving it. And the key to all of it, of course, is this morning he did exactly what I predicted he would do, which is that he would not invade Greenland. He would not cause World War III to start. He would not suddenly start putting tariffs on every European country that they do business with. And he would, in fact, just announce that they've done some kind of deal, which is exactly what they've
And
done.
you think that's a good thing?
I do.
I don't. Do you know what? Because look what it does. And I just wonder if he's just such a megalomaniac that he loves to see money markets crash and all
money markets
shares
went
go.
up.
They've gone
Well,
up.
they go
Yeah,
all over.
exactly.
They wobble.
Well, that's
They
how you make money.
Wobble,
Yeah.
wobble. But this is the thing. It's not a game.
It is.
Yes,
no,
it is.
Of course it's a game.
It shouldn't be. And he's playing a game. And
Every
one
trader
day.
plays the game every day.
But do you
I
seriously
know
think,
they do,
Ingrid,
I
do you
know.
seriously think, and I'm starting to worry about your Trump derangement syndrome, do you seriously,
You can worry about it.
do
You haven't heard how bad it
Do
is.
you seriously think that every other politician is unlike Donald Trump, not playing a game, being much more honourable than him, being much less abrasive
I
than
do.
him? They're all doing it.
Yes,
They all do
of
it.
course they're all
But he
doing
gets
it.
blamed
It's
for it.
manipulating. It's the way he goes about it.
You know what? I think
And
that-
people, and sort of like, the superpower, sort of meant to be the most sort of like powerful in the world, blah blah. So you are
kind
going
of
to
are.
sit up and listen.
I mean,
What?
they sort of are the most powerful.
No, I don't think they are. I
Well,
think
America.
China is. I think China,
China
is.
is?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Honestly, I'm
Who
looking.
invited her?
I'm looking east,
Hey?
but they do it in a very subtle way. Well, we're just so dependent on China.
Yeah, that's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, because
Oh.
it
Oh.
is. We should be independent. I absolutely agree, but we're not. They do amazing things. Their machinery, their cars, their everything.
Kill people and by the millions, brilliant.
Well, so do
Yeah.
America. So do we.
What?
So do people all over the world. No, I'm
No, we
sorry.
don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, we
but
don't have
just do it-
actual camps for
we do
people
it
to be killed
quietly.
in.
No.
No, we really don't. Well, I know you live in a funny part of Surrey,
way-
but, I don't
know
think
what?
they've got any of those camps here,
Yeah.
as far as I'm
No,
aware.
listen,
Uyghurs might
I,
have a
thi-
bit of
I
an
think
issue
it's
with
very
that, I think.
easy
Yeah.
to point the finger over there and just to say this is what they're like. We're in a dictatorship here and everything. We don't know half of what goes on, but we're supposed to be civilized. America is obsessed,
blame the deep state.
obsessed with China because they are, in my mind, they are more powerful than America.
Ingrid,
and
Ingrid.
the Americans.
Can I just
can't
remind
stand
you
that
this is a
'cause they
comedy
need to
show,
be-
by the way.
I know.
I know that's
Numero
quite
uno.
that's quite a funny joke, that, but I mean, it's not funny enough.
First of
Go
all,
on.
All right.
China is
China.
nothing. China is nothing like we expect it to be.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
nothing. Their population is 1/3 or at least half of what it claimed to be. They've been lying. They're absolute liars. They've been borrowing money. They've been selling stuff and taking the money and building stupid stuff, and their money is running out. The country is dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't we do
But
the
my
same?
point
Yes,
here.
we do. This
Yeah, yeah.
country is
Yeah, but my
dead.
point here is
but
not-
America is not dead, and it.
Sorry, no, you carry on. But my point is about the Trump haters, and you're really stressing it very well because he comes in for criticism for things
Yeah.
that everybody does, but they just don't like it when he does it.
No,
You
that's
know,
not true.
because
That is
because
not
he
true.
does
But
it
it's so
differently.
childish.
Okay,
I mean, for example,
Can
for
I
example,
call it childish?
you can,
then?
but I'm not going to let you carry on like that. The bottom line is, this is also dictatorship, by the way. The point
the
about
Republic.
the Trump haters that I find hilarious is that they're always asking ridiculous questions. Like there
Yeah.
was somebody on Sky News the other day actually asked a European politician, should Europe be putting an army together to fight a conflict with America in Greenland? And I mean, that is such a bloody stupid question.
Yeah.
It's just where
Stupid.
did you get that from?
Yeah.
Why? We sent like what 6 people up there with a flag, a Norwegian
very
flag.
But he was implying that that's
Yeah,
what
but
we
he wasn't
needed
ever
to
gonna
do
do
to
it.
get the thing, and then now all the people up to 65 years old suddenly have got to join the army. Of course he wasn't, but
Do you believe everything you read, Ingrid?
No, I don't, and that's why. And I look
Yeah,
at him and
that's
I
what
just
she's
think,
doing.
oh, here he goes again. I don't believe anything he says.
But I-
Well,
can
No,
I-
we
my-
shouldn't
Yeah, but
be
why-
like
all right,
that.
hang on,
My
hang on.
feeling on
Shouldn't
it.
be
Hang
like
on, let's
that.
not talk over each other.
Yeah.
How is it possible that I'm the only person in the world, it seems, who knew
Yeah.
exactly what was going to happen,
Yeah.
who knew exactly how
I
it was
knew
going to
what was
play
going
out?
to happen.
Well, so you didn't really believe there was going to be a third world war?
No, but the
you
thing
didn't
is,
really believe he was
it's
going to
like,
invade
here he
Greenland?
goes again. No, exactly.
Yes,
Here he goes.
might.
It's so
He might do
boring.
that.
Yeah, but-
we have hope that he's going to do
Well,
that. We have
I
hope
will never forgive him.
That Denmark
Right.
should get the hell out
I
of
will,
our continent.
I will never forgive him for
I'm an
making,
American.
for making us talk about Greenland more than we've ever talked about Greenland. You know,
Yeah.
I don't remember
Exactly.
ever talking
Tourism
about
is going to
Greenland.
go through the roof. Do you think it's all part of the ploy?
56,000 people live there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's even less people than live in sort of, Hastings or something like that. I mean, it's not really worth invading. But anyway, it's all about...
Sorry, can we have a quick pause?
Yeah.
So Mike's right about talking over each other.
Yes.
It's all getting a bit hectic.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
if we can just have a
Yeah.
bit of
Okay.
space, please.
Of
Thank you.
course,
So
yeah.
just carry on. Thank you.
And so, I mean, there's some of the people that have been speaking up, like Gavin Newsom, for example. You'll be familiar with him, the
Yes.
Californian governor. He was in Davos, absolutely spitting feathers about the fact that Europeans were getting down on their hands and knees and worshipping Donald Trump and doing everything that he said. You know, because one, I don't even know why he was there.
Yeah.
But two, he represents part of that sort of American band of the, you know, the Trump haters who can't see him doing anything right. And at the end of the day, I don't particularly hold a candle for the guy. I just find him very amusing to watch, and I just find it very funny the way that people react only to him. They don't react like that to anybody else.
That's the bizarre thing. I mean, I must admit, I'm a Trump supporter. I like Trump, and the reason I like Trump is, and I think someone encapsulated it perfectly the other day, what he says actually makes sense, but how he says it is what aggravates
It doesn't
people.
always make sense. I mean, some of the stuff he came out with this week didn't make a lot of sense.
I love the Davos thing. I mean, I could watch that again.
Davos was fine, but
his
did you see the
speech
press
there.
conference in the White House when he was talking about his 1 year's anniversary?
No, I didn't see
Where,
that.
where he think he talked for an hour and 30 minutes or something like that.
Oh, God,
and
it's
almost
so
none of it made
boring.
any sense.
No, it's rambles. And then he gets things wrong. So we talked about Sleepy Biden and all that.
Yeah.
And he calls...
Sleepy Joe. Beijing
yeah.
Joe, we used to call
Oh, yeah,
him.
Sleepy Joe, that was it. But he's making mistakes, calling Greenland Iceland.
Yeah.
What is
So,
the
I mean-
difference?
Well, you mean like Keir Starmer and sausages?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Here is the
exactly.
point. Can I interrupt you? Number one, there is no Trump derangement syndrome. There's two sides of a war that's been going on for years.
Yeah, Republicans and Dems.
No, between globalists, the evil people who used to control the WEF, and nationalists,
Yeah.
people who support England existing and maybe even Greenland existing, America existing. And so whoever, it's like with I'm not allowed to say the guy's name, but the mustache man.
Yeah, that
The
man.
mustache man. You don't think World War II wouldn't have happened if that mustache man wasn't there?
Yeah.
You think every single idea came from that mustache man? No. But that what makes Donald Trump great is he's saying what needs to be said.
Yes, I agree. I
And
agree.
doing quite often what needs to be done. But there
And
we
what
are.
needs to be done.
And only he gets criticised for doing things that other people would have also done, but they maybe wouldn't have been so objectionable about it.
I mean, one of the things I particularly liked about his speech at Davos was, firstly, he commended the head of NATO. And he said, this guy's trying to do a really good job,
Yeah.
and I'm behind him. However, what he did talk about was the NATO partners not stepping up.
Yeah.
And the fact that
And not spending any
America has
money.
got
Yeah,
a big
they've
ocean
complained.
between Europe and the United States, which they can defend their borders, probably even better once they've got Greenland.
We have to talk
but
about the
what's
Bering
happened
Strait.
is, and the Bering Straits, yes, we can
That's the
include
first
those.
time that's ever been mentioned on Plank of the Week.
Yes.
Oh, has it really? Okay.
But
Thank you, I like that.
The fact of the matter is, he
You're
was
having
propping it
that,
up,
Lulu.
and people weren't stepping up and paying their dues.
Yeah.
And understandably, if NATO had imploded, that would have been cause and effect of basically
Yeah.
the various
Yeah.
NATO members not doing their job and
Yeah.
not contributing.
But again, that's the meat and drink for people who talk about these very serious issues. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, Plank of the Week for me, Trump haters. Moving on. Lewis, you got the king for no apparent reason other than he just hates him.
No, the king is the second worst thing about this country.
What's the
first?
first?
Maybe the NHS, maybe the BBC, maybe English people are the worst thing
So he's
about
going down the list. He's going down the
is
list.
the king represents everything that is wrong with this country. Everything that is wrong. This country needs a nationalist, pro-English, Welsh, Celt, Pict, Irish, Cornish, Scottish leader.
Are you saying not German?
Not the Welsh.
No, it's not that he's, it could be German, if he's fighting for English people and British people and Scottish people. But he's not. He's fighting for those people over there. He's dressing in a Muslim mullah thing, whatever he's doing. And he's absolutely, he's trying to mess up this.
How is he
Do you
messing
know-
it up, Lewis? I'm a royalist. I'm a
Well,
strong
so am I,
royalist.
but
How's he messing
honestly,
it up?
I'm losing interest. I loved the Queen, but I'm sorry, I'm very disappointed by Charles. He's
I think
weak.
Charles needs to move to one side, and I think William and Catherine have to
He's
take
he's
over.
being woke.
That's my feeling.
And in his wokeism, he's just become very, very wishy-washy, and he's not doing what he ought to be doing. So he's trying to be all-inclusive, and you can't please all the people all the time, and he's actually displeasing the British more than he's pleasing the others.
Exactly, because he does not care about the people in this country. And you can sit there and say, oh, he represents us, but he's not with you. He's not with my children who are English
Yeah.
children.
What should he be doing then? that You don't think
he
he's doing?
should be fighting against the invasion, the mass invasion of this country, which is going to take
But
away.
he's one of those people who welcomes
Yeah.
multiculturalism.
Exactly, and that's the
Didn't he
wokeism.
have a big little soiree at Windsor Castle.
He does. Well, he
Yeah.
does it all the time.
No,
It's,
where
you know,
he
the-
brought in all the imams and
Yeah, but
various
it's the-
others,
the
which is
lefty-
fair enough. But as head of Church of England, which is what his primary role should be as a king, he's not really fulfilling on that. I'd have to agree to that.
Well, that's the point, because he's part of the lefty establishment.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that he should not be left wing, he basically is. You know, he's one of those people that doesn't like to criticise immigration policy. Probably finds it a bit distasteful when he sees, you know, Nigel Farage getting up to speak.
He forgets he has no empire.
Yeah.
Because his mother, who was the worst mother, the worst.
Oh, where does
Disagree.
that come on? Can't
To the
believe it.
tower.
It's getting
with
worse
you.
and worse.
To the tower.
Okay, you have to qualify that. That's a sweeping statement.
Look, she was. I mean, look what she basically ignored Charles, and how was Charles raised?
How many children are sort of like ignored? I don't think you can sort of say
Yeah.
ignored from working parents and particularly working mothers.
Well, like Brooklyn.
It's a tough life. Yes,
And
exactly.
those mothers too are also bad mothers, because
But
if they
you
had kept a
get back-
husband, that wouldn't have happened.
but
Yeah,
she
but
had
she
a
never
job.
divorced. She never divorced her husband, so
Yeah.
she kept her husband.
Yeah.
Who are you
But-
talking about?
The Queen now.
The Queen.
We're still on the Queen.
Yeah, the fact
Being a
is,
bad mother,
she's
you're
going
saying.
around the world when she's a tiny little baby, and at the end of the day, what have you gained in? I think there's a saying or something. What do you gain when you ignore your child? And look at
Well,
Charles.
she would have said
But she
that she
had
was
backup.
doing it out of duty to the country.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
you say, for
exactly, yeah.
example,
Yeah.
that
Serving the
King,
country.
that King Charles doesn't serve the people in
Yeah.
the way that he should.
And how-
she
yeah.
very much did that.
Well, it was
And what
duty
did
first.
she
very
do?
much did that.
And
Duty first.
actually on a Queenie level, she lost the largest empire in the world under her term. She should be fired from
But
her
she
job.
didn't give it away, though. It was the politicians
No,
that gave
exactly.
it away.
Whatever it was,
Exactly.
but did she seem like she was fighting for it? No,
Yeah,
she didn't.
She did, because she went to visit the Commonwealth every single year. She went on tours to the Commonwealth. They loved her in all the Commonwealth countries. And in fact, it's only really since she's gone
Yeah.
that these people in these countries have now decided they don't really want much to do with Charles.
Yeah.
They don't want much to do with Britain either.
Well, I
Because
have to-
Britain has given an awful lot of shit away.
But even
sorry
though
to
they
say
love
that word
Chaos.
again. They've given a lot of stuff away ever since the beginning of the 1950s.
Yeah.
When the Queen was first put in charge.
I mean,
So
personally, I
wait,
think the
wait,
king
you-
should have
wait,
got
wait, are
involved
you-
in the
wait,
Jacobs thing.
Stop. Are you saying that I'm wrong?
I am saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that she didn't
I
give
might
it
be
away.
wrong.
No.
I'm sure that if she had been asked, would you mind if
Yeah.
we carry on ruling this land, this whole world, this empire in
Yeah.
the way that we always did, she would
Yeah.
have said, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
But she was afraid of losing her house. So she didn't speak up for it. That's what it was. This country needs somebody in this country.
With backbone.
With backbone.
Yeah.
Is the king?
True.
Does the king have
True.
a backbone
No.
for this country?
No.
No.
he doesn't. So how can you like the king?
No, I don't dislike him per se, but I don't like him as our leader. And then you see,
Well,
I
see,
don't,
that's what it means
I
to be the
don't think
king.
William will be any better. I want somebody strong. Princess Anne is strong. She's no nonsense. She sticks to her thing. Whether she's going to be, would be a misguided sort of person like her brother, I don't know. But
What about Andrew? He'd be a good king.
Oh, God.
You know,
Do
at
you
least
know-
have a laugh. You know, hookers round to Buckingham Palace every night.
Every
with
Friday.
parties.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
oh God, it could be.
I mean, it could
black
be
comedy.
it could be a lot worse, and I don't think William's actually going to be any better, to be honest.
No, I
Don't
don't.
you?
He's even more woke.
He's a bit vanilla,
I
isn't he?
like Kate. I like Catherine.
Catherine's great, love
but
her.
I would make her queen.
Yeah.
And you know, just biff William out of the way. But
I don't
mean,
think she's intelligent enough, though. I think. Do you know?
how are you measuring
Saying it
that?
as it is.
How are you measuring her
How are you?
intelligence?
Yes, I was going to say,
I'm
what's the
measuring
test
her on
on
what
that
I
one?
see. Well, on what you see, how she presents
What, in the
herself.
press?
Yes, and how she delivers herself. It's all written. Their speeches, and I just don't feel that.
Well, listen, I guess we're all knocked off the honours list for this year again.
I think we're all going to that chat, Mike. I think it'd be lucky.
Apart from Will.
Can I apologize for what I just said?
Yes, you can.
I'm sorry.
Not
I'm
accepted.
I love it. God save our.
All right, we're up to the fourth nomination now. And Ingrid, over to you. So
Yes.
your first nomination on Plank of the Week is about a bloke that stole a cat.
Oh yes,
This is a great story.
this is a great story. So
Blood boil.
blood boil. Because are we all animal lovers?
Here he is there,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a picture behind me of my dog Ziggy on the wall.
Oh,
which
I
you can see.
know.
I love
know.
Ziggy.
Do you
He's a
like
lovely
animals? You're
Ziggy.
keeping very quiet there.
I like eating them.
Oh, okay then. Yeah. Yeah.
Me
so
too.
They're eating the dogs.
There were worse things than dogs and cats. There were worse things.
In China, particularly.
Yeah, it's a delicacy. Isn't
So
it?
this is a
probably
story.
eaten them,
This
actually,
is a
too.
story
Yeah.
that I think we can. We haven't actually been allowed to play any clips in yet, but we'll play this one in. This is have a look at this. This is an Amazon driver who goes to deliver a package and somehow manages to pick up a cat on the way out. So tell us the story.
So this chap was expecting Carl Crowther, the cat's owner, called Nora, a package from Amazon, but he had to go to work. The package got delivered. He's got him on the ring thing. He drops off the parcel, and as he walks out, he sees Nora the cat, and picks it up. So now it develops. So he contacts Amazon to report this guy, and stupidly, he's so visible. Maybe he didn't know there was the camera was on it, but he's got his name, he's got his everything. It's very easy to trace back anyway who was on the round at that time
Where
in
was
that
this?
area. This is in Yorkshire somewhere, I think. And oh God, I better get that right because then I'll get everybody upset if I say the wrong place. Oh, it's West Yorkshire. Okay, all right. I have to say the West. And so contacted Amazon, and they weren't helpful at all.
Really?
Were they not?
No. And then he contacted the police, and they said, "We will investigate." Well, seriously, the police don't come if you're being murdered, do they? They're not going to investigate.
Or
a
if you
cat.
write hurty words, they will.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's very true. And then you'd be banged up in prison. Anyway, so, and of course, everybody was, or the owner was absolutely fraught because it's got some medications. It's got a little murmur of
Well, Nora's got
heart.
medication. Oh,
Yeah.
bless her.
Anyway, I don't know how, but update.
Yes.
Boom. Nora has been returned,
Oh, wow.
found and returned.
Good.
Excellent.
So
Where did they
this is-
find her and how was she
Well,
returned?
that's the thing I don't know. This is what I was saying. So I
Right.
don't know how it happened and don't know the story in between.
Okay.
But the main thing is a happy ending. This is a Disney ending. Nora's back home.
Yeah.
Good.
And all is
And
good.
what's gonna
But
happen
not
here?
good.
But we'll
Well,
need-
this is the thing. So then what does happen to somebody like this? Does he get prosecuted? Does he get put into prison? Is
Yeah.
he fined?
John Wick.
And also, what was the purpose of it? Do you think he was going to hold him to ransom?
No,
Well-
apparently he took Nora. What I did see in the press was he took Nora because he thought she was a very cute kitty. And that was the only motivation. That was supposedly, allegedly, the only motivation he did that. However,
Yeah, but the cat is not wandering the street, right? The cat is inside the confines.
Yeah,
of the house.
by the
yeah,
front
exactly.
door.
It's
Right,
not like it's a stray
No, but,
or
there's,
anything
but
like
I
that.
think I'm
Right.
right in saying that when you look at the actual footage, there is, there's inside a gate
Yeah.
situation. So
Yeah.
the cat is on his own property
Yeah.
or her own property. And Amazon apparently upset the guy when he rang them up because they said they wanted to know what monetary value.
Oh, that's
he
right.
put
I
on
forgot
the
that
cat.
bit. Yes,
Yeah,
what's it worth?
What monetary value? They
Well,
put
this
on-
guy said that.
No,
No,
Amazon
Amazon.
asked them
It's
what monetary
totally
value.
insensitive.
Which I suppose would mean that, is it insured or something like that? But I mean, you don't just pick up a
What the
cat
hell?
in the street, do you?
No.
I mean,
And
just
you
before,
can't put a price on it, can you?
just before we started filming today, a spaniel came into the studio.
Yeah,
right?
it was cute.
We hadn't asked him to come in, by the way. But you don't just then pick the spaniel up and go, right, I'll put him in the car and take him home.
Of course
Yeah,
not.
of course
Because
not.
obviously the spaniel is belonging
Oof.
to somebody. So it's all a bit
Any
weird.
pet
But-
lovers like us out there. Oof.
But I would
Take
imagine,
my kitty at your peril.
surely Amazon would have to at least get rid of the driver, wouldn't
Oh,
they?
Yeah,
but it would be
exactly, because to
interesting
be
to
honest,
see.
if he's that inclined to pick up someone else's private property,
He'll
Yeah.
pick
then
everybody
he's going to pick up
else's.
anybody else's.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Kleptomaniac.
literally should be exited and marked, tarred, feathered,
But what would
dropped
the-
in a river.
But how would you do the punishment? Would it be
And
a
then
prison
burnt.
sentence? Would it be a fine? But going back to
Well, it's
It's theft.
isn't it?
It's denial of
Doesn't really-
the true
yeah,
owner
but I think it
of
comes
that
under
possession.
different things with animals for some peculiar reason.
Hmm.
Talking about monetary value on his cat, and you can't put any value to an animal or even jewelry. It's sentimental, isn't it? But I remember a long time ago.
Cat's
that-
more important than jewellery.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
agree with you because it's life.
Mm.
It's life. But I had a rabbit, and it was bouncing around in the garden, and a friend of it was mine was looking after it and made a little kind of like barricade while he was building a big rabbit run in the garden. This is ironic, actually. The dog from next door jumped over through the garden and everything, and killed my rabbit. No, it's not funny.
It is. Well, it's funny. It is funny. If you want to tell
did you have
stories
sleep
like
that night?
you know. Again.
So Ingrid,
Yes?
what did you do about this?
Well, I confronted her full on, and I just said blah blah blah.
Did you point your family? Didn't even point your finger at her.
Oh, I did.
Did you wave your fist?
I'm not a coward. I went to her door, marched over, opened the door and everything. I've done terrible things in confrontations in my life. I decapitated every tulip head of my neighbours because I thought they'd hit my dog.
Enough.
You thought that they'd hit it.
Well,
But it turned out that they hadn't.
It did turn out they hadn't.
Ingrid, you're just a violent person.
I know.
If you ever need a job, give me a call.
Oh, thank you very much, but I will.
Somebody needs to, and I think Mike will agree with this, and Will too.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to shake this country up and say something needs to be done.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
And you should have called the police. The police would have done nothing, and you should have sued the local police department. You should have sued this woman because her dog should have been controlled.
Yeah.
The
We
fact
don't
that
want
Did
to
she buy
turn.
you a
we
new
don't
bunny?
want to turn Britain into America, though. Where
Exactly,
where
sue
everybody
culture.
sues everybody else all the time, and the only people that get rich are the lawyers.
Yeah,
how much
true.
money would you have been happy for?
Did she give you any money for the bunny?
No, she just said, I'll get you another one. You know,
Yeah,
it's a bit
get you
so,
another
so
one.
disposable.
And
So did you
that's
say,
bad.
and I'll get you another dog when I've disposed of him?
Oh, I should have
Yes.
done. Gosh, I wish I had thought of that.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
That's
there
why
we are.
I have my uses sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, there we
Yes,
are.
I'd
Now,
have to
listen.
phone
I'd have
you.
adopted him and then fed him really well.
We've spent too
taken
much time
pictures.
on the rabbit now because the rabbit wasn't part of the show.
No, it wasn't.
right?
We went off
So
on a
you've gone off on
massive
another
tangent.
bloody tangent, right? So let's get back to the nominees. Will, you're next with people who tell you in London that the place is as safe as houses, no crime whatsoever.
It's really getting bad, Mike.
Yeah.
It is getting bad, and I'm about trying to remove paranoia rather than instill it, and that's what I say to my clients in terms of trying to address risks of various types. But I think the Rolex robbery that occurred this week in Knightsbridge, which inevitably everybody had their phones with them, so they were recording it. And
Well, tell us about the robbery.
well, so basically what happened was it was a team of 3 or 4 individuals masked up on mopeds, went to number 1 Hyde Park, which is this very posh residential development that in the basement or on the ground level, they have a McLaren showroom, they've got a Rolex
I know,
boutique,
yeah.
they've got various things there. And it's slap bang by what was originally called Scotch Corner, so top of Sloane Street and on Brompton Road. Now, this was about 11 o'clock at night. And what I've heard from my colleagues in the authorities, they'd obviously
I
timed
thought
this
it was
very well.
during 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, did I say
You said
morning
at
or
night.
night?
Yeah, you
No,
said night.
morning. Sorry,
Slightly
morning.
worrying given that you're a security
I
consultant.
know,
Yes,
I know.
yes.
Can't tell the difference between 11 o'clock
No,
at
I
night
just
and
can't tell the
11 o'clock.
time. That's the only difference. Yeah, I can tell the difference between night and day, but the time, forget it.
Yeah.
That's why I have a talking watch. But yeah, what happened was basically the police had been diverted off to deal with the Kurdistan protest. So a lot of serials were down there. Yeah, but I think that was really good timing on
Every
behalf
Friday.
of the criminals. Yeah, there's some protests of some sort.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened? They turned up. There were 2 security guards, from what I understand. This group, they used one of the bikes to basically charge straight through the door and open it right up. Whether the security guards, which they tend to, which is keep the doors locked, they view who's coming in, then they open up and let them in. I think the bike allowed that. They probably got one of their team, I don't know the full details, I'm just speculating here, had someone who came to the door, they opened up, timed it so the bike could come in, wedged the door open, rest of the gang went in there, grabbed everything. Now, there's one bit of footage, apparently security from the Mandarin Oriental, which is a big, prestigious hotel which is nearby.
Yeah.
Their security came out to try and help, but inevitably they've got to look after their own home. And you could see these guys brandishing big machetes.
Yeah.
They got away with probably a good million or so's property and scooted away. But again, this is another example, Mike, of Sadiq Khan's London, where literally it's getting worse and worse and worse. And this is there are 2 factors here. There's number 1, us Londoners, what we want to keep safe with. And there's also the tourist industry.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that a lot of the Middle Eastern tourists, which would come over around this sort of time, they're less inclined to do so because a lot of them will have expensive jewelry, watches, and everything else. And they're seeing people getting, and there was only quite recently a stabbing outside of a hotel, which is dead opposite almost from the Rolex. Someone coming out of one of the restaurants there who got stabbed for his watch. This is just getting worse and worse and worse. And we're
But
going
also, it tells you about the brazen nature of people who are now not worried at all about being interrupted in the middle of a sort of armed raid of a Rolex shop in Knightsbridge.
Absolutely.
Because they know the police aren't going to get there, whether they're around the Kurdistan embassy or not.
Yeah.
They're just never going to get there.
It was unbelievably, it was masterminded, really, wasn't it?
They've
That's
done
clever.
that- they've done
It's
their
the sort of thing
reconnaissance.
that you would see in movies.
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
don't. Yeah, but it wasn't that sophisticated from what I could see. And I mean, and
okay.
again,
Well,
I've
they
been
got
involved
away
with a
with
few
it,
of these
though.
kinds of cases. They got away with it.
It's kind of a
Absolutely.
ram raid, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but they'd done their reconnaissance. They'd worked out how much was probably readily available within cabinets, what was the tempered glass on the displays to be able to crack it, what sort of equipment you'd need to do so, how were the security behaving. And I would say there was a failing by security. I don't want to be too unfair and unjust.
Could be an inside job, even.
It could have been an inside job. I know people immediately leap to that, but you know, if the security, whether that be technical or human, is not vigilant enough to pick up that advanced reconnaissance and be conscious of that and constantly adapt and change.
I mean, a lot of the
they're
shops,
gonna get
the watch shops
exploited.
in Oxford Street, for example, where I've walked past quite a lot, have got two doors.
Yeah.
You go in one door.
You can have an
and then you
airlock.
have to stand there for a while until they check you out, and then they let you into the next bit.
And it's a really
But
good
the thing
idea.
that I find extraordinary, again, it's a bit like the people that hate Donald Trump. You know, if you're right wing, apparently you're not allowed to say that, you know, it's dangerous to be walking around in London because you might get your phone picked, or in my case, you might get your back window smashed out of your car.
Yeah.
You know, and it is really very dangerous. But you're not allowed to say it. And Sadiq Khan keeps coming out and pretending that the statistics are lying and telling us that, oh, actually 4 less people got killed last year. So it's actually technically safer.
What could he do?
Well, it isn't, is it?
No, it isn't. And certainly,
keep
I mean, I'm sure
comparing
we
it
all
to-
have plenty of friends who go, we're going out for the evening to Mayfair, Knightsbridge, wherever, any part of London for that matter. And it's like, I'm not going to wear my nice watch. And I know a lot of guys who will not wear nice watches that they've got, which are literally sitting at home, you know, in their.
And they also, one of the reasons they say it's safe is they keep comparing it to like Chicago. You know, with people running around shitting each other, you know, but it's not surprising it's safer.
Yeah.
How do you find London these days?
I think London, I mean, I think it's because I'm getting older. I mean, this stuff never happened before, this kind of brazen crime,
No,
you know? I mean, they never robbed trains back in the day, but now they do.
Oh, sorry, hello. Are
they
you
robbed-
forgetting
Ronnie
Ronnie
Biggs might
Biggs?
disagree with you on that one.
Yes,
The
that's
fact
it.
is, we got to find out what is the actual genetic background of the people who were the robbers. If they're foreigners, then that's bad. If they're English people, then it just shows that English people haven't lost their step. They're still robbing and killing.
They are still doing that. But
Yes.
also, you could rob trains in the past because they
Yeah.
did actually run.
Right.
Now, they don't go anywhere. There's no point in robbing them because there's nothing
You
on
get
them.
stuck at the station.
Nobody
Yeah.
puts anything on a train that's valuable
Yeah.
because, you know, it's never going to go anywhere, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that.
The point is, here is the problem. The point is that the country is changing.
Yeah.
And so people, whatever change is going to happen is going to upset people.
Well, you know what's happening, and it is changing a lot. Unemployment. It is so difficult to get a job, and this government
You're not going to
hasn't
say that
actually
they're
helped.
now looking for a job, these people, so they've decided to rob a Rolex.
Hang on,
No,
they're getting all
they're
these
not gonna get a
benefits,
job. They
Ingrid.
don't need to. They just have a huge amount. They've suddenly got all. What's a Rolex? How much you pay for a Rolex?
You are
100
paying
grand?
probably no. I mean, you're probably going from
20.
about 20-25 upwards.
Yes.
You know,
There
entry
you
level's
are.
probably about 20-25 grand.
All right, so
grand. I thought you said $25.
yeah, so
Yeah.
You know, that's an
But
annual
what are you going to
wage
do with
or
a lot of
something.
old, brand new
No,
new
you-
Rolexes?
it's-
Yeah,
it's
it's very
black
easy. Even though
market.
they've got all the serial
It's a
numbers,
black
you'll get it
market.
serviced basically by someone probably in Hatton Garden somewhere who's not going to be a legitimate and approved sort of Rolex
And people
servicing.
steal to order as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
of course they do, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you're picking up a snidey watch for a couple of grand rather than
They're
paying
probably
top
all in Russia, really,
price,
right?
yeah, maybe they may have moved over there. But you know, Rolex will circulate all the serial numbers to all their branches, all their service centres everywhere across the world. So, but anybody who's stolen one or received a stolen one isn't going to be stupid enough to take it into to Rolex to get it serviced, are they?
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, but I mean,
Right.
I think in terms of plankery and to reinforce the plank on that, it's Sadiq Khan
Yeah,
again.
it is.
Because to be honest, he's the one who's putting the pressure on the police. Mark Rowley is doing the best he can, but he's working with opposing demon forces of Sadiq Khan. And as a direct result, is the city
You
safer?
can't
No, it's not.
You can't blame one incident on Sadiq Khan.
No,
Yes,
no,
you
it's an
can.
aggregate. It's an aggregate.
It's an aggregate. The fact is the country's being invaded, it's being taken over, and there's change going on. And whenever there are times of change, and that's what America has, that's what Chicago has. It's change. It's like been invaded too, in a way.
Because they never had any violence in Chicago 100
Yeah,
years ago.
not to the same degree. New York used to be one of the safest places in the world
Not when I lived
in the
there.
1940s, but not when you.
Well, I lived there in the 80s. It
Yeah.
was really dangerous.
It was really
Well,
dangerous.
New York was dangerous in
It
those
was,
times.
it was one of the reasons I left.
Well, the East End was dangerous, and now it's really fashionable. You know, look at all the houses,
Yeah.
what they're worth.
Well, not all of it.
Not all of it.
No, but
There's quite a lot of it which you wouldn't want to go
Yeah.
to.
No, that's true. But chunks are.
Yeah.
It has. It's very sort of up and coming. Yeah. Anyway,
Up
and
and
also
coming.
he's in denial. It's
Always
just.
ove any word that's described as up and coming.
Oh, yeah, that's what we
What it means is you're going to get robbed the first day you move in. Right, my one next is Kemi Badenoch. So there's another one who has come out with.
What's Kelly done this time, Mike?
Complete and utter codswallop, right? She came out this was after Robert Jenrick decided to defect to reform, or after she threw him out of the party. When one of her aides discovered that he'd written a leaving speech that she didn't know about. She came out and gave a whole series of interviews, and I think we're going to see one of them now. So have a look at what she had to say.
Politics is broken, government is broken. There are a lot of things that are broken, but they can be fixed. But the country is not broken. And I don't want us to terrify young people who are leaving the country. We're telling them that it's broken and they're saying, fine, we'll leave. Let's give them some hope. Nothing is broken beyond repair. I'm an engineer. I like fixing things. We can fix stuff. Our education the system isn't broken. Our health service is strained, yes, but it's not broken. How many of your viewers have gone into the NHS and got great treatment, fantastic treatment, but we can see that there are problems coming if we don't fix them. That's why I wanted to talk about how we get our economy growing again so that we can fund the services that we need and get our country back on track.
So this is the leader of the opposition basically saying that Britain isn't broken, right?
What?
She came out and gave this interview and said Britain isn't broken because Robert Jenrick the night before has done a press conference with Nigel Farage and talked about how, the NHS is broken, the borders are broken, the police are broken, everything pretty much about Britain doesn't work, and everybody knows that that's true. Apart from apparently Kemi Badenoch, who said it's not. And I just think, well, you must be the only person living in this country at the moment who thinks that Britain's fine. And she obviously wanted to try and make out that we're still a great country and all that.
She has to. She can't just go, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's being in
But
denial
does she, though,
as
Ingrid?
well.
I don't think she does.
It's like Sadiq Khan just being in denial and then just like, throwing it up, ignore that.
I don't think
just
she
kind
should.
of
I think she should be. I mean, if you're in the opposition and you're trying to push your position, surely she should be turning around and going, yes, it is broken under this government.
Exactly. That's my point. That she's not going to do that, is she?
Why not?
Because she didn't
Well,
do it.
the problem
That's
is,
why
right?
she's not
Well,
gonna do
one
it.
of the
She
reasons.
didn't.
One of the reasons she can't do it is because the night before, Robert Jenrick said, "I can tell you the country's broken because the Tories broke it," and he was one of them. But now that he's not a Tory anymore, he can say that. But
But he wouldn't have said that. Do you think he would have said that if he was still a Tory?
yeah, I think he did say it when he was a Tory because he said that Britain was in a terrible place. I mean, if you remember, he was doing those videos of going out and apprehending people, jumping on the tube and not paying. He was going out to places like Birmingham saying he didn't see a white face. He was talking about how Britain was in a terrible spot. But she, I think, has decided, because the Tories have got this now kind of zealous hunger for trying to make themselves out to be the nice people on the right, and those horrible reform people over there are all just bigoted and racist.
It's just
and nasty,
ridiculous.
right? And so we're going to defend. They've sort of fallen upon the flag, I think, as their final kind of destination, where they can say, if we wrap ourselves in the Union Jack and tell everybody that we love Britain and we're very proud of it and it's really, really great and we should stop talking it down. They think that's a strategy, but it isn't, is it?
I think it makes her even more of a plank that they're so tone deaf to the electorate and the general public in going, oh yeah, the sky's pink today, isn't it, everybody?
Yeah.
And everyone's going, no, it isn't. We know it isn't.
No, it's grey,
and
like it normally
it's grey like it is normally.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is so insulting to the general public and why none of these idiots have any credibility in my book, because they're just spinning stories just basically because it either gets a soundbite or it's potentially in controversy. No, it isn't.
They should be. Yes, it's
they should be
marketing.
finding solutions. They should be finding solutions to this country and going, you know what? We're listening to the general public. This is what the general public is really peed off about.
But they don't listen, and this is meant to be a democratic society, and they don't listen.
Bring on the dictatorship, Mike.
Dictators run much more efficient countries.
I've worked in a few countries where they've had dictators, and I have to say there's a good, strong argument for dictators sometimes.
There is. Unfortunately, you have to then look at Iran and then go, actually, no, that's not really-
that is.
Let's exclude
really
the
go
Khomeini.
so well.
Let's exclude it. Let's exclude,
there's
exclude
only
him.
so much of that you can go along with.
The point about the Conservative Party, no matter who the leader is that it's dead. It's absolutely, they will be like the Lib Dems.
But
It's
don't
like
you think
19.
they're all dead?
No,
I think you're right,
they're
actually.
not
Who do you
all
think's
dead.
alive then here?
The only person who's alive,
Reform.
I can't even say the guy's name, because we're at war. We're at war, and things are going like this. The crazy people are going to one side, the other crazy people, and there's no safe space in the middle.
I
And
don't trust any of them.
Kemi Badenoch, she's a lovely woman, but she's not the right person for the time.
No,
I agree.
I agree.
And I think that's where she's trying to be as well. She's
It's
trying
being
not
nice.
to be.
Yeah.
She's trying not to be one of the crazy people over there and over
Yeah.
there. She's trying to be somebody sensible in the middle. But nobody wants that.
Yeah, nobody
really.
wants that, because when you're fighting against the mustache man, it's not like let's be nice. Let's be nice to the mustache man. We're nice party. No, you need a Churchill who's going to say we're going to nuke. I don't know whether he said this. There was no nukes, but whatever. We're going to bomb. You know what I mean?
He did just drink a lot though, so I mean,
He did do
he
that,
probably
so
thought of that.
You got it. You're right. You got a bit excited.
Yeah, but I think Kemi, she's a worthy nominee, mate.
She's
definitely.
No, I
she's not a
absolutely
worthy
agree.
nominee. She's a nothing. She's a
plank.
She's a.
So we
Yeah,
shouldn't
there
even
you go. She's a
recognise her.
worthy
As,
nominee.
are you saying you shouldn't even recognise her as a plank then? Is that what you're saying?
No. And the same thing, Keir Starmer is not even something. He's not something.
He's nothing.
He's a nothing.
He is literally
These are
nothing.
nothing.
He's
There's
wanky.
There's only two sides. One side is Tommy Robinson, and the other side is the ultra woke
Zach Polanski.
Zach Polanski.
The man, as we always say, who brushes his teeth with a hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, his teeth are so ridiculous.
And could eat an apple through a fence.
In fact, his teeth could be a fence. I mean,
Which
A
side?
really
which side
badly
are you gonna be
maintained
on?
one.
Yeah.
And so Kemi Badenoch is a lovely person. She just strikes me as a lovely person. Keir Starmer probably was maybe a nice person.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
No.
so.
I don't think he ever was.
No.
Do you know what worries me a little bit about Kemi? I'm just going to add
You
this
know, we're all
little
going to
add-on.
prison for that as well, with the new safety online, protection measures.
Whatever it is.
Everything else that
Yeah.
they're trying to do. Hurty
Yes.
words, Ingrid.
So I'm
careful.
going to say now. I know this could be hurty. Well, it is hurty. What I'm going to say. So, what I don't like about Kemi Badenoch is because I don't think her heart is in this country at all, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because when she was born, her mother came over to England to have her born here. I think it was the Royal Free Hospital in Hampstead. Don't know the room number, but I'm sort of getting detail here. And because in those days you had birthright citizenship.
That's right, yeah.
So her mum, she was born here.
Healthcare tourist.
In order, to have British citizenship, and then immediately took her back to Nigeria, where she lived for 16 years before she came back to England. Now, to me, that is playing the system. That is using what we had. Her mother, she can't be responsible for her parents' sins and all that sort of stuff, but her mother used and abused the British system.
Yes.
Took full advantage of it. So now she's here, and I just think, I'm sorry, I just think it's
The
all-
irony.
The irony. And I think it's all just a little bit first black woman, first this, that, they're trying to kind of get in there, and again, being kind of like, woke leaning and stuff. So I don't trust her.
Trust her. It's the Tories that elected her.
Yeah.
She-
Well, the
when-
And
Tories
I
had a
don't
choice.
trust the
Yeah.
Tories.
Yeah, the Tories had. I don't think it matters that her mother
No.
happened to come here. And
Yes,
she
I
was
think
born.
it does.
No, I don't
Because-
think so.
No, because when you do the litmus test, if there was a problem with Nigeria, where would her allegiance lie?
Well, I would
And
imagine she would say that she's British as you are. I mean, she was born here. Some people who don't
she
like
was
people.
born here, but she didn't know England until
No, right.
she was 16
Okay.
years old.
Well,
She
that
was born
doesn't.
and whisked
I don't
off
think.
back to
I don't think that.
Nigeria.
I don't think that matters.
I think
do.
it matters in a huge way.
I do.
Because we're in a state
agree.
of war. The British
Well, you
people are
say
in a
that.
state of war.
I don't feel like we're in a state of war, but
I
that's
know
another story.
you don't.
And
but
I
you're
must
like
remind
Kemi
you
Badenoch
again.
saying broke.
And I
Britain
must
isn't
remind
broken.
you again,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, this is a comedy show. We're not actually trying to discuss,
Mike.
How easily we slip into the
I
other
know
side
because
of comedy.
it's like people. That's what bothers me. is that people are like laughing and giggling and everything's fine. It isn't fine.
Well-
it is not fine. This country is on a what is a precipice? It's on a cliff edge.
I mean, presumably you don't want him here either
Precipice,
because
yeah.
he's not British. I mean,
Yes,
you born here? Did
exactly.
your mother fly here? Have you born here? Then what the hell are you doing here? Get out.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
I'm not an inappropriate. I wouldn't be an appropriate leader for this country, and Kemi Badenoch is definitely not an appropriate.
Well,
leader
don't
for
worry,
this
she's never
country.
going to get in.
Yes.
You know, she's the leader of the opposition, and that may not be for much longer.
But you know what? If she spoke, if she went out at the precipice and says we're going at 1 inch further because we will die if we go one inch further, then the people would love her. Whatever color she was, whatever country. But we need a
People
leader.
don't like the Tory party at the moment. That's basically it.
Not at the
They don't
moment
I
because
don't
it's
like
dead.
any
The Tory
political
party
party
is
at the
dead.
moment.
Exactly. I'm
I
glad to
don't
remind
even
you.
like Reform
Yeah.
anymore. I've gone off them. I don't like anybody. Where
Don't
do
like
I go
anyone.
from here?
Blimey,
Take
this
them
is a
all.
No, yes, we
crowd
do.
here.
Okay. We like this country is waiting for someone who speaks for the average bog standard Anglo-Saxon English, even
And believes
yes,
it.
and believes it, and
Yeah.
is willing to fight. The King doesn't do it. The Tories don't do it. Keir Starmer doesn't do it. Okay, so who's going to do it?
I'll tell you who's going to do it.
Lewis
I've
Shanklin.
got some breaking news for you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be Andy Burnham.
Andy
Andy
Burnham.
Burnham's going
God.
to come in and save the
Mr.
day.
Fisher-Price.
Well, he
because
would be
apparently-
better than Starmer.
Apparently,
I mean,
Andrew Gwynn is stepping down as an MP.
No, he will not be better than
no,
that.
he won't
Because
be.
if
Right.
you're a globalist, you want someone who's extremely globalist right now. If you're a nationalist, like I would say a lot of people are, you want someone who's extremely nationalist. There's no middle ground.
That's the problem. Anyway, listen, that's enough of that crap. Let's move on. Number 7.
Yes.
It's a
of
comedy
the week.
program.
This is
It's a
Ingrid.
Oh,
Prince
me.
Harry,
Oh, Prince Harry. Do you know, I'm
or
going
the
to
Herbert formerly known as Prince, as I like to call him.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, I'm going to be all over the place with this because in the one sense I
I'll
feel
make a
terribly
change.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to get myself out of this situation, reputation. Anyway, on the one hand, I just think he is such a knob. Can I say that?
He is.
And then on the other side of it, I feel really, really sorry for him. And he's stuck in the middle. No, I do.
Why?
And bear me out. Because he, again, as I say, I hate to use the word victim, but he is a victim of his circumstances and he's kind of like birth.
That he's created.
Going
Yeah.
back. No, he hasn't created. He was
Was he
born
abducted
into it.
against his will?
No, but he was hijacked from the day he was born into having to follow suit and do
'Cause
this,
he was born
do
into
that.
it.
Because he was born into it. So you don't develop your
By
own
his
identity.
ruthless mother, who
Yeah.
paraded herself in front of Charles in order to become the Queen.
Yeah.
Never quite worked out like that.
Yeah.
No.
And then gave birth to 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And he was probably like, you might make the same argument as Kemi Badenoch about him. You know, he was suddenly born within the confines of the royal family.
Yeah.
And just because of that, he's now apparently able to have all sorts of rights and riches and wonderful things just because of where he was born. So I don't think you should feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
Like Brooklyn
but
Beckham.
I feel sorry for him because, lucky him. I don't feel sorry for that. But I feel sorry for the circumstances under which he just lived, and it was in the Goldfish Bowl, and everything was done for him and organised for him, which is why, therefore, then moving on to the Meghan bit, I can't stand her, but she has stepped into the role where the royal family, where he stepped out of it, where she has taken over control. So it's quite seamless.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to think for himself.
That's his relief because he hasn't got a brain.
But I think he's not the brightest tool in the box. That's
not.
absolutely true. But he's quite, you don't have to measure your intelligence in GCSEs and A levels and degrees and everything. But
He hasn't got any of them either, but that's not why he's stupid.
but that's he's not very sort of like streetwise because he hasn't been able to live and spread his wings. So he was so impressed by Meghan because she was so free and easy and oh my goodness, you do that.
No,
you
we
said
know what he
that,
was.
whatever.
No, we know what he was impressed with.
Well, I know they call it what
Apparently,
I won't say the word.
there was a particular statement that King Charles did come
He
out
did?
with, which
Yeah.
I don't think we can repeat
We can't
even
say
on
that.
your show.
Not even on this show. No.
As a
It's absolutely true.
PP.
It's a bit like that,
Yeah,
but it's worse. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I think that the days of feeling sorry for him are over though, because he continues now to just kind of torment the rest of us by continually turning up in court to sue people.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
that's the thing.
you love him. He sues everybody. I mean, you know,
Right, that's Meghan. Do you not get it? Because it's a sue culture of America. She has sued so many people, even before she met Harry. And then it continues. It's that whole sue culture. And he goes along with it. And this, though, is where he is planky, because they've looked at the thing, and I don't know whether it's his solicitors or what that have, just like rolling with it. But so much, the Mail, from what I can see and read, have got themselves absolutely covered.
Yeah.
And also they're referring to his book as well,
Of
where
course.
Harry is
And they're also
really
referring
course they
quite,
will. Yeah.
rightly to an awful lot of events that their diary editor was at, for example, who used to know many of his friends, who used to talk to her on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. They also know that he apparently used to pose as some pseudonistic Mr. Mischief name, which he would communicate with people. And we all know. I mean, I used to work in Fleet Street. We would have tipsters all over the place.
Yeah.
Who would tell you things that happen, and a lot of it would come directly. Diana, his mother,
Well, I was about to
was
say.
the absolute master.
Yeah, she would throw them up and say, I'll be at the arches, I'll be there, and come
Yeah.
out looking all like this. And
I mean, she gave an interview to Piers Morgan once, right? On the phone, gave him this story, told him that he could run it, gave him permission, and in the morning she denied ever talking to him.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Absolutely. Standard
And everybody
drills.
accused him of
Standard
making it up.
drills. It's
You know,
like paparazzis.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
right?
of course. And
And-
they'd say, I'm going to be at this restaurant. And I know this from having done
Yeah,
security
and then
for
it'd
enough
be like, all
celebrities.
like this,
And
oh,
they
go away, go
I
away,
knew
you
nothing
know.
about it. And it was always teed up by their PA to say they're going to be at this restaurant, they'll be at this bar, whatever it might be. So get the shot. But inevitably, they'll just basically sort of.
And also, like he
surprise,
is. I mean,
surprise.
you say that he was born into the spotlight, and yes, he was. But he seems to like it because he's quite capable. He's got enough money of disappearing and not being in the spotlight at all.
No,
but he
it's
keeps
Meghan,
reappearing into
but,
it.
And I think his loyalty.
It's a world
I think-
privacy tour.
No, but another thing I think of being born into that family, all families of that that have that kind of traditional outlook, is loyalty is absolutely paramount. And you be loyal to your wife and your children. You're the protector, the provider. It's all very old-fashioned and everything. But he is being the perfect kind of husband expected.
Well, he spends
Okay,
half his
something.
time away from her.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but
it's not
now,
really.
but
I mean,
I
maybe
have
that
to
is the
say,
perfect husband.
But now, doesn't that make you wonder? Because I'm starting to look at this, sort of going, I don't know how safe that marriage is, and I wonder how safe it has been for a long time. But they've got to just ride it out so it doesn't look a little bit too sudden, or perhaps a little bit too.
Well, her MO.
perfect.
Her MO is to move on from people
Of course,
quite quickly.
absolutely.
I remember the
But
last
it
guy
looks a bit bad
the
to
last
move
guy
on
she was
after 3
engaged to,
years.
she sent or married to. She sent his wedding ring back to him in the post.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice of her.
Well, at least you sent it back.
That's true.
Didn't she
yeah.
send it back?
You know, my wife threw my wedding ring that I gave her into the River Avon in Bath, where we met, and it still sits at the bottom of the weir.
Oh,
So
we
I
need to
was-
get that
Do
metal
you go there
detector.
once in a while? And
I haven't been
have
for a while, but a friend of mine
Have a little contemplative moment.
I say, please go and visit my wedding ring. I bought it in New York for $200, and I never got it back. Shocking.
The point is, this is the point that you guys are missing. This is a similar situation to the other guy,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
or Nick Reiner. It's like, it's just an example of bad parenting. Princess Diana, and I know.
But it's not
Don't
intentional.
interrupt me
All
for a
right,
second.
okay.
Don't
Sorry,
interrupt.
sorry.
Is that I am an expert on the royal family because I was in 6 episodes of The Crown.
Were you?
Yes,
Were
I
you?
was. I was in 6
Which-
episodes.
Now it's an
period?
episode. I mean,
Which
he's an
I was
expert.
there when the
Which
boat
season?
was leaving. I was interviewing Prince Philip. I was quite there. I was there with Princess Diana at the Fairfield Hotel.
Was this the Claire
Fairfield
Foy seasons?
thing. I was there with
With
what's her
Olivia
name?
Colman?
With the Olivia. 6 episodes, 6 different years.
So now you're an expert.
So now I'm an expert.
Yes.
I was making a joke because you said it's a comedy program. It's a comedy program. But the fact is that they're bad parents. Charles, okay? Charles.
don't-
is
I'm
a
going to
bad
disagree
No,
with
he
both of
doesn't
you.
mean
I'm
to
going
be
to disagree
bad
with both of you.
No, you cannot interrupt me because Charles was banging somebody else besides his mother, and
His mother.
Because
Now this is you are an expert. This is a story. This is a story I
You're
never heard.
breaking some serious news in.
yeah, well, okay, that was a Freudian slip, and he was doing his
He'd
mother.
appeared,
The
maybe.
Queen is like his mother
Yeah.
because he didn't get enough mother. I got mother issues myself, so I know what it's like. You want the love, and he did not get the love from his mother, and that's why he's so
Or his
ugly.
father, actually.
or his
Oh,
father.
worse. He didn't
Yeah,
say he
yeah,
loved
yeah,
them.
yeah.
No, wait, don't interrupt. I'm on a roll.
You've all been told to stop talking over each other.
Yeah, this is Louis Schaffer's show, and and so he's angry for he's taken on his mother's anger against his father. This is quite common in divorce
Are
situations.
you a psychologist as well as being?
I'm psycho. The fact is that's why divorce should be made illegal because it's so painful. That's why having sex outside marriage should be illegal because it
Sex
causes
outside of marriage.
sex out with somebody else besides your wife. Yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who would agree with you.
Yeah.
Many of them are the people that you say are ruining this country.
Yeah.
But so that's a bit of a paradox for a start.
Yeah. Also, if you do that,
there's no
set
doubt
boundaries.
that Diana was, by any measure, not a very well balanced individual. Certainly,
She threw herself down a flight of
she
stairs.
did.
Exactly.
She also had an
Right.
eating disorder, and lots of people who love Diana will say, but she was driven to it by Charles because it was a loveless marriage, and you're quite right.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, there are
banging
plenty of
not-
others that
not
have
his
loveless
mother.
marriages, aren't there?
Yeah, but she wasn't averse to smuggling the odd person into Buckingham to Kensington Palace either, which we also know about. And so the problem is that Harry used to be the favourite royal. People used to love him. People used to
But
think
that
he
was
cool.
always the case, wasn't
Right.
it? Was it?
But he's just made one too many mistakes, and he needs to get out of the limelight. Because otherwise, I think when people will see him, they'll just start chucking things at him.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
booing him.
I
But then
agree.
it
I
was
agree, Mike.
useful
Yeah.
for Meghan to get her back into the limelight because her career was a little bit on the skids.
No, I think
Yeah.
the opportunity, I think that's expired now. I think that value has expired.
Yes, I do
probably
too,
now.
because now now the name doesn't carry weight anymore. It's like
Anyway,
you've got to have the talent to be able to get there, and
Yeah.
they're just knocking off and rejecting contracts and not renewing contracts. So that sort of proves it. I think he did enjoy it, and in the time that it
I
was
think he
there.
did.
But when it turned bad, then of course you're going to absolutely hate it. But you know, it's his mother was not a good example. It's learned behaviour. They would have witnessed that because she used to take them, didn't she, down to the arches at night to go to the homeless and do all this sort of like thing, look at us, and brought them up, which is a good thing to be sympathetic towards these other people, you know, like the mines that they
Yeah,
closed
but it's all
and that.
performative.
But it
nonsense,
is,
isn't it?
I agree. It's
It's like the
getting
Invictus
it's
Games.
cheap.
The Invictus Games is all about him and Meghan driving around in a golf cart and waving at people. It's not really about helping anyone. So
No.
anyway, I think he's a massive plank, and I wish he was just bugger off back to America.
Can we get a quick Meghan impression?
Harry, what's going on? Mike Graham's been fired. It's great news, but no, he's back. He's back. He's still complaining. Let's get to number 8. Lewis, over to you. Something else that you hate, and I'm glad to hear it, is the BBC.
I mean, the BBC is the cause of all of this problem because we've had
Everything.
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 They're maybe the second worst thing about this country.
What's the first again? We had this earlier.
It's the king.
That was first when we said what was this?
How? King Charles was the first, wasn't
Did I
he?
say-
No, he
was the
didn't.
first. He was the second.
When he was the second. You
Yeah.
said sort of like, and he's the second. We said who's the first. So you mentioned NHS, and
NHS,
BBC.
BBC,
Yeah.
So
the university system here, the education system, or the people. Maybe the people are the worst thing.
Yeah,
But,
well,
uh,
the BBC certainly contributes to the worst of case scenario.
Because
There's
first
no
of all,
hanging fruit at the
won't-
moment.
They won't give me a job. But that's not the point. The point is that we've been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed to love the royal family, to treat them as important, to take the eyes off of the prize. It's a socialist publicity campaign, is what the BBC is. It's Big Brother communications. And they're walking around like they're better than everybody, and they should be basically closed. All money. I can't. Oh my God.
I think the most obvious thing is the
This is
BBC have
my
been
worst
revealed as
show
a.
that I've ever done.
I think.
Thank you.
Thanks
For saving it for me.
Thanks, Lewis.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting to like Mike. But he's lovely.
This is the thing. I mean, people expect me to be really horrible. It
Yeah.
turns out that I'm not, which
Yeah.
is quite disappointing, actually.
Yeah, it is. I expect
go on, Mike.
you to be a twat.
Try harder, please.
I know. It's
Would you mind?
ridiculous. But you know what?
the
There is.
BBC is sort of being
He's asking
recognised
me
and
a
unveiled
question.
as basic. Well, I'm answering your question anyway, Lewis. So whether you like it or not,
Okay.
So I think they've been revealed as a proper state instrument in
Yes.
terms of the wokeness and agenda. And what's happened is the curtain's been pulled back and everyone has recognized what they are. Yes, they do have some great product which they sell to various parts, but some of the David Attenborough stuff, that's good.
No,
No,
he's
Attenborough-
an anti-Semite, that guy.
Attenborough is
God's sake.
completely. First of all,
sake.
he's too old for a start. There's no business taking the job away from somebody younger in his 90s, for Christ's
he's
sake.
great.
And
People
also,
love him,
every
love
single.
him.
Yeah, but of course they do, because they're simps for the BBC. Attenborough is no more of an expert on the planet or the climate than I am.
Than Bill Gates.
I know,
Right,
but it's a sentimental thing, Mike.
And you've got a new show coming out. Have you? Oh, what are you going to call it? Doesn't matter as long as it's got blue in it. You know, blue
Yeah.
planet, blue sea, blue
And it'll
sky.
still be good.
You know, blue
Yeah,
this,
it'll
blue.
Still be a great show.
No,
agree.
I can't stand it. And here we are. And then it turns out half of it's fake anyway, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't go to any of the places anymore in case he dies doing it, right? They won't put him on a boat to go across the Bristol Channel because they're frightened he won't make
Have
it
you
to the
been
other
across
side.
the Bristol Channel, Mike?
Yeah, I drive across the Severn Bridge like all sensible people. But the point is this: half of the stuff that they claim is you know, like, oh look, we've managed to capture in the wild. It's not in the wild. They've done it in a studio, and there's a guy who was found out.
yeah,
But it looks pretty.
So it's fake.
Yeah,
Right?
it is. Some
Fake
of them.
news.
But they're saying it is
God's sake.
illustrative. And
Illustrative.
yes, and
It's-
that
well, that's a bit like-
quite nice.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
it's
a bit
telling
like-
us about, you
It's
know,
a bit
whatever
like
animals.
it's a bit like
We should not
splicing.
interrupt,
Yeah,
Mike.
stop talking over me.
Exactly.
It's a bit like having two clips of Donald Trump and splicing them together and pretending that he said it all in one sentence.
No,
It's
no,
fake.
it's not.
It's fake
It's
news.
not. It's back
fake
up.
news.
It's back up
No.
to the thing.
No.
So if you see like the way that the
I can't believe
the
you're defending
praying mantra mates with
praying
whatever.
mantra.
Oh, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I have a praying mantra. That's it every morning. It's
Is that
brilliant.
a weird
Oh,
type
yeah,
of
no,
yoga?
sorry.
Yeah.
No, Mike is right. The fact is that if you've got £5 billion a year, you're going to come up with some good stuff.
Yeah.
You would think. But
You
you
know-
know what they're doing now, though, which is one of the reasons I
Yeah.
hate them this week,
Go on.
is because they're now moving into our space. They're moving into YouTube. They announced this week that, you know,
I
because
thought they
they're...
were already.
Well, no, but they haven't really used YouTube aside from to put sort of promotional material on there and tell people, you know, come and watch
Yeah.
the latest edition of Panorama.
So what are they going to do? Put BBC
So they're
breakfast
now,
on
well,
there?
this is what they're going to do. And it's don't release on Wednesday. YouTube and the BBC say a deal will showcase, in quotes, the best homegrown storytelling and news from across the BBC. So
Amazing.
they're going to put the news on YouTube. They're going to put programming on YouTube. They've realised because this last week,
No one watched
in fact,
the
it was
restaurant
December,
anymore.
and the reason I like to say this is because we started our YouTube show in December.
Yeah.
In December, YouTube overtook the BBC as the
Not
single
surprised.
biggest TV
Oh.
viewing company in Britain, right?
Yeah.
So now they know they're in second place, and they're chasing the dragon, and they're trying to get back.
Yeah, but the
so
younger
for-
generations, they don't look at
Well,
terrestrial. Terrestrial just doesn't have it
what they-
anymore.
well, who,
Yeah.
I mean, who now goes, oh,
I
I've
have it
got
for
to get...
years.
Well, I'm not talking about sex. The point is, I'm saying
Mike,
that...
I asked you to keep that confidential.
You know, you've started to answer the questions I haven't asked yet.
Yeah.
I said, who like sits in a pub and goes, oh, I've got to get home for, you know, Coronation Street at 7:30. Nobody does that anymore because you watch it whenever you want to watch it. And so they're dying and they should just,
And they should be
yes, stick a fork in it.
and,
It's done.
and the fact that they're collecting £174
Yeah.
a year from everybody,
Yeah.
and that we're giving them money to be propagandized. And first of all, they represent the state,
Yeah.
so they cannot be a news organization.
They don't. If you're talking about the state as in the political party,
No,
at the time, they
no.
don't.
I use the word
Exactly.
state as opposed to government because you treat the word government differently than we do in America.
Yes.
Good.
So they're going to have 50 channels, right, on
Can
YouTube.
I ask something?
What?
Excuse
50.
my ignorance.
50, geez.
Can you get this all abroad as well without having a BBC TV license?
What,
Yeah,
on the-
I can show you how to bypass
I would
that.
imagine so.
Oh, so it is a bypass trick. You can't normally.
No. It's a bit like trying to watch BBC World Service. You can't watch it in this country.
I'm not sure
But
that...
even if on
or you
YouTube,
couldn't.
no,
Last
but,
time I
no, but if
checked.
they're on YouTube, it'll be
Yeah,
all
that's
over the
what I'm
world.
wondering.
It'll be all over the world, presumably. But
That's what
because
my
you can't. I mean, you
question.
can't watch iPlayer abroad
No,
because
no,
they control
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But,
You have to have the license.
but if you're on YouTube, that's an
No, that's VPN.
The BBC is dying.
VPN.
They're like the Labour or the Conservative Party. Everything is up in the air right now. And what Nietzsche said, what is falling, one must push. I think that's what he said. And that's what the BBC is. It needs to be pushed.
Yeah, it definitely does. We need to be pushed as well because we need it at the end of the show. But here we are. This is the third plank of the week that we've ever done in these new studios. So very, very happy to be here. Next up, it's number 9. It's actually mine. It's Emmanuel Macron, of course, who made a bit of a plank of himself this week. because he appeared in Davos wearing a ridiculous pair of sunglasses, right? And they were called aviators, I think, weren't they? And then we've got a little clip here, I think, of Donald Trump making fun of him. Have a look.
Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened?
Donald Trump actually said, "What the hell happened?" You know, because Macron turns up looking like a sort of he's auditioning for a part of Top Gun with Tom Cruise, right? And apparently he had some kind of eye infection, which was
I think Brigitte
which well,
touched him.
funny you should say that because apparently the shape and colour of the eye was apparently consistent.
A little yellowy
with him being slapped.
Well, shall I tell you something? Because
Little
I thought
purpley and
that
yellowy.
because she slapped him when he was coming off the plane, they said.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought she'd done that, but it was his right eye, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I actually was so convinced that she had done that I Googled to see if she was left or right-handed. And AI came up
Such a good
with...
student you are.
I know. Well, you know, when you get this little suspicion in your mind, I mean, I get a little bit, it's a bit nerdy sometimes to do that. But anyway, I just wanted to sort of like see, because then it would be a credible theory.
Right. Did it say whether or not she had a cock?
Oh, Juno, isn't it just the best? I've got so much stuff
Hang
on there.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Anyway, no, she's right-handed.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been hit by plenty of women, right? And I don't ever ask them whether they're right or left-handed.
Yeah.
No.
Depends where you're standing.
No, it's a position of the. Oh yes, but it's unlikely. You're not. It's not like you've gone like. If I was to hit you, I'd go like that.
Would you?
wouldn't I?
That's
Yes.
quite frightening.
Yes, but I wouldn't go like that.
No,
and I wouldn't do.
but
that
you
like-
might if I moved to miss. You might hit me that side by mistake
True.
if I went like that.
Oh yeah.
See what I mean?
You look like you're a southpaw, so you'd come in with a hook with the left, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, and in addition to that, of course, he made a ridiculous video. I don't know if you saw this one.
No.
Before, I think it was before last weekend. And he made this video of him walking, sort of coming around a corner and to walk between a bunch of French army military uniformed
did see
people.
it, yeah.
And in the background, there was like a Mirage jet.
Yeah.
And he was kind of striding up to his full, 4 foot 3.5
Yeah.
height.
The camera was right on the
And
floor.
the camera
as
was
well,
right on the
wasn't it?
floor.
Yeah.
And he's walking as if he's trying to intimidate Donald Trump. You're just thinking, mate, that's really not going to work.
Yeah.
As much as the French are actually militarily quite good, he
Back into the chocolate factory with you,
he
Macron.
really doesn't look the part, does he? So I think Macron for me. And also, he was one of the first people to lead this kind of charge against Trump to say, well, we'll start putting tariffs on you if you put tariffs. I mean, the French don't buy anything from America, do they? They don't buy American cars. They don't like American
but
food.
energy, LPG, and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know if they buy any energy from
Well, where are
America.
they getting it from?
They can't.
Because
It's through Russia.
It's the largest nuclear country in the world. The point is that Macron is center left.
Yeah.
And his day is gone. There's no center.
He's just as unpopular as Starmer, isn't he? I mean, they hate him in France. They think he's
He'll probably have a
absolutely
cell next to Hollande,
Yeah, probably. No
I
doubt.
think he probably had plastic surgery.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I
Because,
want plastic
because the glasses
surgery.
are so large
Yeah.
and they're so they were what you call
They
it.
were huge, weren't they?
They were
What do you
shades.
think he was having his wrinkles taken?
Yes, because that's more embarrassing than being smacked by your husband.
Surely you wouldn't. Surely you wouldn't do that just
Bravo,
before going
sir,
to
bravo.
Davos, though, would you?
Yeah, but maybe he
Timing.
said it had to be done.
Right.
He had a very good plastic. He called up Madonna's plastic surgery.
Yeah,
surgeon.
you wouldn't want her plastic surgery, would you? I mean, she doesn't even look like
It
Madonna
looks like a
anymore.
cat.
Yeah,
Cat
absolutely
size.
right.
Yeah.
Right, the final one, Mr. Will Geddes.
Oh,
down
I
to
get
you.
the final one.
Number
Oh, my
10.
goodness. Well, here we
This
go.
is the health advisor
This
from
is
Wales.
the health
I think we got a picture of it, haven't we?
ambassador.
We got a
Yes.
picture of the health
Pooch, I'm sure, is
ambassador.
going to pull up the picture.
Yeah, you might be able to, but here it comes. Tell us about it.
Oh, Attica Ahmed. I believe she's 23 years old. So,
Mm-hmm.
no, I've always run by the mantra, Mike, and guys,
Is it a praying mantra?
that if I had a trainer, sorry, mate,
The praying mantra.
the praying mantra, that, let's say I wanted a personal trainer. So I'm going to select my personal trainer on what I believe is going to be representative of the level of health or fitness that I'm going to want to have. And likewise, I would have thought if it came to health, and particularly for children in schools, I would want someone who was going to be a fantastic representation of what health should be and lives and subscribes to a healthy life themselves.
There she is.
Yes, indeed. So
They're not that healthy, does she?
there are two things that worry me about this, Mike. Is firstly, it's so obviously a DEI hire, Why was she brought in? There is nothing healthy about that woman. With the greatest respect to her, zero. The second thing is giving me Minneapolis quality Leering Center vibes as well.
Right.
Because you know what? If I look like Mr. Potato Head, which some of the viewers might believe I already do, but if I did, I wouldn't put myself up for the role because that would be the worst kind of imposter syndrome imaginable. This person does not represent health. And of the various speeches that I've seen that have been published, and this may again be unfair, I haven't seen anything that has been indicative of her having any actual understanding of what health for children should be, other than a whole bunch of nonsense about community and about, oh, I should have learned how to do a tax return at school. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But nothing to do with health.
I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? But I mean, that's the trouble, is everything that now is supposed to be about either health or about fitness or about
Which is good.
Which is about encouraging kids to do things. It's all kind of twisted by this woke business, isn't it? It's all
Yeah. I
twisted
mean,
by-
I'm all for health. I'm all for fitness. I'm all for trying to, you know, I grew up in the 70s. She evidently isn't, yeah. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and I was fed spam on a weekly basis by my parents and Frank Bentos and God knows whatever else. So,
well, that was all there was to eat.
Which was the hell there was.
There wasn't anything else.
And, you know, carbs was a good thing.
Yeah.
Loads of bread.
So getting
But,
hoops were mine.
you know, we've come a long way down the line in terms of education on health, nutrition, and everything else, and exercise. And I'm sorry, you know, greatest respect to her. She does not represent exercise, health, nutrition, or anything else. I mean, at least in the States, you've got RFK. I mean, he'll go out there, he'll start doing pull-ups, he'll start doing exercise.
Sounds weird, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sounds a bit weird, but, you know, he's a seriously healthy, fit man.
Oh,
Can
sure.
I say
She is
something?
not. I could see her having type 2 diabetes within the next week.
She's probably
has
already
it
got
now.
it.
If she
Yes,
has already-
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. Can I say something? This may not go down very well, but her diet, the cultural diet, would be very different to here as well. Maybe she doesn't eat pork and various meats.
I don't know.
and things like
idea.
that.
She looks like she eats
Ingrid,
everything.
having lived in the Middle East, having operated in various parts of the world, there are still healthy choices that you can have.
Yes,
I think so. Yeah. Well, listen.
I don't think she should be telling us with a very different diet and lifestyle either.
I wouldn't listen to one word that came out of her mouth
No,
that
no.
But somebody
would make me
offers
feel-
a 23-year-old a job. The 23-year-old
You
takes
don't
the
take
job.
it
Yeah.
if you're
You
not
don't take it.
qualified.
You don't say, I don't think I'm qualified. Just if they're willing to offer.
I think
this
somebody
job.
might have said to her, by the way, you might face a bit of criticism over this.
A
You know,
bit,
maybe this
a
is not-
little bit.
No one
probably
has
just a
said
smidge.
But-
Nobody has said
somebody
that.
should have said
Nobody is more fat conscious than I am.
Right.
And I have not said anything today at
Yeah.
today's show. So people do not tell, and people don't say you're fat. They don't.
They should.
I
though,
do.
don't
Should.
they?
I did on
People
the
call me
TV.
fat all
do.
the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it a lot.
I know,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Is it-
it's-
But do you
even-
get offended?
No.
No,
never.
exactly.
I tell my
Exactly.
friends they're regularly fat. You know, out
I
of, the,
didn't even know men don't.
out of
even-
the 5 people I know,
You're
there are
actually
3
not
of them.
fat.
No, I'm not anymore. But I was. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I lost 20 kilos. But, you know, before but they still call me fat. Then what can you do?
They
anyway,
still call you fat.
they still call me
And you
fat.
either, you know what, you either don't care,
I don't.
or you do something about it.
Right.
It's you're given the choices, but
But
what you
you
don't have
should,
is
you should care.
I
You
don't.
should
No, you
care.
shouldn't
But
care.
here's what
If
I'm-
it's the truth,
Yeah.
if
No.
somebody says you've got a big nose and you've got a honker, you're not going to just say, oh, like this, I'm sort of
No, it's not the same thing having a big nose.
Yes, it is.
It's
It's a
this
description.
No, this world, we need
How did
to
we get onto this?
We need to fight for our place. And the most
Can I bring this back to Abigail Ammon,
Before
please, of
we sit
Wales?
there and criticize other people. We
Notice.
have to be as perfect as we can be.
And we are.
But
And we
if
are.
you
We are.
say
I
it
mean,
truthfully-
I don't know how much more perfect we could be.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the very, very successful Pick of the Week show. We've come to the end now, so I get to decide who wins.
Yeah.
There's no democracy about it at all, I'm afraid. So
I know.
I'll
Used to
see
that.
who you think should win. I think I'm going to have to give it to the guy with the worst parents in the world, and that would be Brooklyn Beckham, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe we give it to all the bleeding Beckhams and just say, you know, you're all a complete bunch of planks.
Plank family.
And would you mind not dominating the news all
Yeah.
the time? Because we don't really care. We've had enough now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see, of course, one of the things that they did, as they say, that only Brooklyn Beckham has got control of the dance that his mother did.
Yeah.
So it's so upset him that he's kept it secret. He looks at it every night.
Well, I'm sorry,
You
he's
know.
a puss as well. I mean, if his mum was dancing weirdly, then get off the dance floor, mate.
Well, also, yeah, just get rid of the because they took everybody's phone off them and wouldn't let them take any
I'm not
pictures, so nobody
surprised.
else has got it,
Yeah.
except for them. So
Yeah.
presumably next week they'll release the dance.
Probably, yeah, at a fat fee.
Oh God, it would be like Megan's dance. Do you remember when she did that thing and then Harry going like, oh,
it's just
Anyway,
hideous.
so listen, we're going to
Thank you, Mike.
Plank of the week goes to Brooklyn Beckham. Thank you very much indeed for Louis Schaffer. Thank you so much to Will Geddes.
you.
Ingrid Tarrant as well. Brilliant show. We'll be back next week, same time, 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. And as I always say, no matter how much of it there is out there, do not be a plank.
Remember, despite all of the others out there, it's always the others. Don't be a plank.